President Trump is working to distance himself from the uproar over the Jeffrey Epstein case, and his Justice Department is seeking an interview with a top Epstein accomplice. Joining us now is NBC Washington correspondent Alice Barr. Alice, if that interview happens, what kind of evidence or names could realistically come out of this?
Yeah, Chesley, it's not clear. I mean, we do know that Ghislaine Maxwell, had the opportunity to testify in her own defense back when she was sentenced to this 20-year prison sentence for sex trafficking down in Florida, and she did not choose to testify at that point. She has said through her attorneys that she doesn't have new information to reveal. And so a lot of people, a lot of Democrats specifically, are raising concerns about whether going in and speaking to her now could incentivize her to say something, even if she has said in the past that she doesn't have new information, because she's appealing that 20-year ruling, and she may want some kind of leniency, would assume she'd want some kind of leniency in exchange for speaking and sharing potentially anything that maybe she's been holding back. She's saying she doesn't have more information, but if she does, and she decides she wants to bring that out, then she's going to want something in return. We heard also from some Republicans. Jim Comer, one of the leading House Republicans, said he doesn't think that she should get any kind of a deal, any kind of a plea deal in exchange for any testimony. So there's controversy just about going in there, having this discussion. This is something that never happens really, to have a member of an administration go and speak to somebody who is in jail and, kind of try to dig up more information at this stage. If there's more to be had, then I think a lot of people want to hear that. But there are questions about, the mechanism for trying to get to that information.
Yeah. President Trump says he's not directly involved in this, but he supports the move. What do you make of his attempts to be transparent and calling this a witch hunt?
Yeah, I mean, he's walking a tricky line here, because it's his Department of Justice, his Attorney General, who came out and said nothing more to see here, that in fact there is no incriminating client list. There is no evidence to suggest that Jeffrey Epstein was murdered in jail, that he died by suicide in his jail cell. And so he has that, from his own DOJ. And yet he has from many members of his base who have been, promoting these conspiracy theories for a long time, very deep dissatisfaction, because President Trump, members of the administration now, in fact, the number one and number two at the FBI had been some of the loudest voices saying we have to release the full Epstein files. So he is stuck a little bit with what his officials at the Justice Department are telling him, and with what his base is asking for, and I think he's trying to please both sides.
Got it. Yeah, Congress is about to go into recess, right? And now it sounds like some folks on Capitol Hill are trying to play the beat the clock game with this Epstein case, right?
Yeah. So what we're seeing today is that the House Speaker is sending his House members home early for their summer break. And that's delaying votes being demanded by Democrats and also some Republicans calling for the release of the full files on Jeffrey Epstein. And so the fact that they're leaving means that this vote will not come up before what is a 5-week break. And House Speaker Johnson is hoping that during that time, this is all going to die down, because he has said repeatedly that while he is for maximum transparency, he doesn't want to force the hand of the Trump administration, who he believes is doing what it can to try to satisfy these concerns. He's hoping that over this 5-week period that this will die down, and then the calls for that vote will go away, while Republican Thomas Massie, who's been leading this effort to force a vote on the floor, he's betting that lawmakers are going to go home and they're going to hear from their constituents, who very clearly, very many of them in both parties, want this information made public, and that when they come back, they're going to maybe have more leverage rather than less, and more time for the mechanism of bringing that vote forward to still make this happen.
Got it. Alice Barr, thanks so much for joining us today.